this was like a huge heartbreak. How you're picking yourself up in those hard times.
The time that you get totally alone, that's actually a gift, but you don't realize it.
You can either choose to take accountability and control of your life, or you can maybe have like a victim mindset.
If I am not happy with where I am right now, I need to go and change it because nobody's gonna do it for me.
What does it take a business from zero to now where you are?
I think, no, I don't think. I know it's a lot of hard work, like a lot of hours, and you have to have this like unshakable confidence or faith that it will work out for you, because it will, as long as you don't give up.
Wow, okay. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something extra special because I am joined here with one of my closest friends, Ruby, and we are going to talk all about relationships, healing after a breakup, and leveling up in life. If you are single or if you are in a relationship, I believe this episode is going to be full of value and inspiration, so you really want to stick around because Ruby is going to be dropping some bombs. All right, so hi Ruby.
Hi,
how are you? Welcome. I'm
Thank you.
so happy to have you here today. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, how about you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Dee. I feel honored to be your guest. But my name is Ruby. I'm 26 years old and I've been living in Bali now for 2.5 years. I grew up in a very small town in the Netherlands, close to Amsterdam. And I had a very nice, happy childhood. And then I went to uni. I realized, maybe uni is not for me. So then I went into the online world, e-commerce, and then I moved to Bali.
So did you actually drop out from uni or did you complete the...
No, I dropped out.
Oh my God, I didn't know about that.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped out.
What was your studies about?
I studied law.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. Lawyer to be.
Lawyer.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And so what made you want to go to Bali in the first place?
Well, it was in 2021, so it was 1 year into the pandemic, and I was already working online. And then at that time, me and my ex were like, we're both working online.
Yeah.
So what are we actually doing here in the Netherlands where it's cold, you have a curfew, everybody's depressed. So let's just maybe go to somewhere where it's sunny.
Yeah.
And then we had a debate between Barcelona or Bali.
Yeah.
But then Bali obviously won because it's a little bit more cheap to live here than
Very
in
true.
Barcelona. Yeah.
And so you were in a relationship before when you arrived in Bali, and now that is not the case anymore. I want you to tell us more about, how was Bali for you back then versus how it is now?
Yeah. Well, back then it was very different. Also, probably because it was my first time ever being in Asia. But being in a relationship and moving somewhere where everything is unknown, obviously you have each other to hold on to.
Yeah.
So, we were just a lot with each other, and then we also had some friends that moved with us from the Netherlands to here. But it was very closed, I would say.
True.
I would not really go out and meet people, whereas now, because I'm alone, I'm also more approachable to other people.
Interesting.
So,
when I met you, you were part of this long-term relationship. I think it was 6 years or so.
Yeah.
And then you guys have this big breakup. So obviously, I think it was during the festive season, Christmas season.
Yeah.
You go back to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised that you decided to come back to Bali, because if I were in your situation, I think I would have wanted to stay more in a place of comfort.
Yeah.
So was coming back to the island like a no-brainer to you, or was it just, you did want to try it out a little bit on your own?
When we first broke up,
And
at the moment that I called my parents, they were like, you need to come home, you need to be here. And I totally agreed with that.
Mm-hmm.
But then at that moment, I was like, but also I don't want Bali, because I really love it here, to be ended on somebody else's terms.
True.
I'm not gonna let this beautiful place end like that. So I was very clear to myself at that specific moment, so I booked a return ticket.
So before going back to Netherlands,
Yeah.
you had already made the decision you would come back.
Yeah, because I kind of knew that if I would go back and I would have like all this comfort, being with my family is really nice, and having my old friends, I would maybe also be like, oh, I want to stay here longer. And up until, I would say, a month after I landed in Bali, I was still like, what am I doing? Why am I here?
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the right decision. I was like bawling in the plane.
Oh my God.
I boarded that plane.
I cannot even imagine. Like,
No.
Yeah.
But still, in the end, I think it was a really good decision. But yeah.
I think so. Now that I see, like, you know, what everything has become, I think it was maybe the best decision.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
And so, so before you, I know you as Ruby in the relationship, and now I know Ruby, you know, on your own. And to me, it really feels like it's two different persons in the most like beautiful sense.
Yeah.
But can you also have this distinction between those two Rubies? Like, are you looking at yourself back then and be like, oh my God, who was this girl? Or
Yeah.
how do you feel about those two eras?
Yeah, it's so true that you say it's like two eras, because oftentimes I will tell my friends, it just feels like I went to a second puberty, and this is the grown-up version of me in some way. But I do think that this version of me was always inside of me already, but I was just very insecure, and I would not let her come out, basically.
Wow.
But yeah, I look at myself from a year ago, and then I'm like, what was going on? What was going on?
Talk about major transformations.
Major transformation.
And so obviously, you know, this was like a huge heartbreak and hard times that you went through. Talk to me about, you know, this healing process and how you're picking yourself up in those hard times, because, you know, I feel like you can either choose to take accountability and control of your life, or you can be, you know, maybe have like a victim mindset. So talk to us about this process.
Yeah. Well, the first couple of months, I would say, like the first 1 or 2 months were super hard. And then I was still very much in the victim mindset of like, why is this happening to me? Why is this person doing this to me?
Yeah.
But then in the end, that's not going to really get you anywhere. And I guess I was always like really interested already in personal development. So then I took that as basically to hold myself on to like, okay, if I am not happy with where I am right now, I need to go and change it, because nobody's going to do it for me.
Wow.
And I think that in my relationship, I always had this feeling of him doing it for us. But then I realized that doesn't make any sense. You need to do it for yourself.
But what was it something that, because you said you were already super interested into self-development and everything, like to have this instinct though, you know, it takes a lot. And I feel like the time span where you managed to take control of yourself was quite short. So like, was there any tools, you know, what were the practices that you were doing like in the heat of this moment that you believe that really helped you? Yeah.
I think for me I was always already journaling, but not really. I wasn't really hard on my affirmations.
Okay.
I got really into affirmations, and then I also read this book. It's called The Wisdom of the Enneagram.
Okay.
And that basically goes into all the different personality types you have into people.
Yeah.
And then I read about my own personality type, and basically one of the biggest fears of that personality type was the fear of fragmentation. So you want everything to be whole in your life. You don't want things to fall apart. And then I realized, wow, I'm actually living my biggest fear right now. So what can I do? How can I make myself better? To not be in this fear. And then I was just learning a lot about my personality type, basically. And then I understood, oh, this is the way I react to things. I also understood the personality type of my ex. And then it was more like a helicopter view. I could look at it from above and be like, oh, okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right, and so you said affirmations are still something that you went more, in depth with. Talk to us about this, the power affirmations. Is it still having an impact on your life?
It has such a huge impact on my life. I actually get goosebumps when I talk about it.
I can see. And it's like 32 degrees, so.
Exactly. Like I always did some affirmations, but then I really threw myself into them. I was looking on YouTube videos about affirmations. And then basically the mindset behind affirmations is in order to become your affirmations, you need to already be on that vibration of the affirmation. And how do you do it? It's by writing it down or saying it and then really believing it. So I just, when I go back to the first page of my journal, it's so funny because they're super careful, these affirmations. They're like, oh yeah, I will be confident. Because I was also, I think, a little bit scared to say those things out loud. But now if you go to my affirmation page, it's like, I'm strong, powerful, confident. And for a whole, I would say like, now it's, I think, 14 months. I've been writing them every day without failing one day.
Wow.
And I truly believe those affirmations. And it's so funny because I told one of my girlfriends, because every day somebody will tell me one of my affirmations.
That's insane.
Yeah. And then sometimes, because sometimes I also have doubts. Sometimes I'll doubt an affirmation, and then that day somebody would tell me my affirmation, and I'm like, oh, it's actually true. It's true.
Oh my God. And so is it like, are you writing one specific, are you writing affirmations in regards to one specific aspect? How does it, do you have a system, like one per day, one per aspect of your life? How are you manifesting this?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily have one aspect of life. They're about money, they're about confidence, they're about love also. And I think I just started with 10. But now it takes me 20 minutes to write them all.
Oh, wow. So you're just building up on it.
Building up. And there were a couple times when I felt like I needed specific affirmations. For example, like, I'm always the chosen one. I put that in there when I had a moment where I felt like I wasn't. So I really needed that extra confirmation. And now it's been in there ever since.
That's so cool. And you said that when you're writing them, you should be feeling like the same frequency, right? So are you like sort of visualizing at the same time? What is getting you like in that headspace?
So sometimes I visualize with them because sometimes they take you to, I don't know, somewhere in your mind. But for me, I think the living on a vibration is just telling myself like, this is true, this is true. And then just you keep on telling yourself that. And then you carry that with you in your energy. So if you say like, I'm confident, when you walk into a room and you've said that to yourself for months and months, then you're gonna walk confidently into a room.
I love that. And I can see how like this has shaped you, the energy that you have now. I as I told you, like Ruby for me before and after I love you guys both the same. I'm speaking like I'm talking about two different people.
Yeah.
I loved you guys like the same, and I felt you were beautiful back then and now. But it's just, I don't know, you have like this very different energy that I think
Thank you.
You know, when you walk into, we all notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love that.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Next question is, going back quickly to the breakup, what would you say is the key to be able to get over someone?
I would say...
Or the keys.
The keys, yeah. It's a whole keychain. I would say no contact is the key.
Okay.
Yeah. Because for me, I was very lucky that my ex was a ghost on social media.
True.
He did not really have any social media.
True.
He also did not really have friends that would post him a lot. So the moment we went no contact, it was really no contact.
Yeah.
And I remember at New Year's, there were like a couple stories posted where you could, I don't know, like just see him for a little glance. And I remember how shocked I was to see him and how like obsessive I would check that story.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then I can imagine if your ex has social media that you're just going to be looking onto his profile. So I would just say no contact, block them on social media. And I think a lot of the times blocking people is seen as a weakness, but you just need that to get over somebody.
I think, you know, sometimes we also need to be selfish. Like, it doesn't matter 100%. How it looks from the outside.
Yeah.
Maybe blocking people is like negative, but in the end, if it's protecting your inner peace and it's helping like your growth, I think if that's what you need, then that's what you should do.
Yeah.
You know? So you said no contact, but then obviously with such a long-term relationship, you not only date that person, but you also date circle of friends and maybe family.
Yeah.
Was it hard for you to have a like cut on that, or is it because you always had like separate kind of circles that it made it easier for you?
I would say friends-wise, because we also went to the same high school, so we...
True.
Yeah. So we chilled a lot with each other's friends.
Yeah.
But in the end, his friends were always his friends and my friends were always my friends. But I did have a really hard time in the beginning with letting go of his family.
Yeah, of course.
And his family is so nice, and they told me like, oh, you don't have to be scared that you're gonna lose us, because we're always gonna have this special place in our heart for you.
Yeah.
Which at the time made me very grateful, and I'm still very grateful for that. But I also think that keeping a lot of contact with the family of your ex also...
It's probably even unfair for them, to be honest. Like, in retrospect, maybe they're doing it out of kindness because they love you. But then, I don't know, for them it's still hard to see like that separation, right? So in the end, maybe it's for the better. Yeah, and also that space, you also need some new space for a new person or a new family to come in. That's true. But yeah. All right, so shifting gears a little bit, now we're going to go into the entrepreneurial side of you. So even before you had your own business, you were doing e-commerce. Yeah. And now you have your own social media ad agency, correct? Yeah. So how did it feel shifting from e-commerce business to now having like an agency? Does it feel like it's closer to your purpose? How does it go? Yeah, so in the beginning it was so scary. Yeah. Because as I told you before, I don't have a background in marketing or in social media. I rolled into it because I did it for my own e-com brand. So everything felt super new. So it was really scary. Yeah. But I think in the end, it is way more close to my heart because I really love being creative. And I understood that already when I had that e-com brand. Yeah. But I was also scared to let go of that brand. But the creative aspect, that's my forte, and it always has been my forte. But I just needed to
have a change in my life in order to accept it as, oh, this is something that I'm actually good at. I don't really understand it, but I'm just going to give it my all, and then I can make something out of this.
But were you always aware that you were this very creative person? Like, were you always aware this was your forte, or?
Yes, in a way I would say, but I would always, because I was just very insecure as a kid, as a teenager, as a young adult. But I would always be very creative. I loved drawing, I loved writing, I loved, actually, music is one of my biggest passions. But
really?
Yeah, nobody knows that about me because...
Do you play any instrument?
I taught myself how to play piano, I taught myself how to play guitar, and...
I'm learning all this.
But actually my biggest passion up until I was 18 is singing.
Yes, this I knew, but I have yet to hear you with a mic.
Yeah. Well, let's go to karaoke, by the way.
Oh my God, yes, done deal. I'm
Okay.
always up for karaoke.
Because I haven't really sang since
Wow.
I transformed.
I think you should.
Yeah, because I have way more confidence right now, and
Yeah.
most of performing, of singing, a lot of it is confidence.
Yeah, because you have like this magnetism right now. I feel like you definitely should go into it.
Yeah, so that I already knew, like I'm creative, I'm artistic in a way, but because I did not have any confidence, I did not have the strength or the power to pursue that.
Yeah.
So I would just say, okay, I'm not going to do this, but I am good at reading, writing.
Yeah.
So what is a logical step for that? Studying law. That was
Wow. Okay.
it. Yeah.
And were you always like? I mean, now with your agency, you really started from zero.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember last year you were going to Bangkok, and
Yeah.
you were looking for gigs that was, I don't know if they were really related to what you're doing now. And now you're scaling so much, right? Like your business is flourishing so much.
Yeah.
What does it take for to take a business from zero to now where you are?
Yeah. That's a very interesting question. I think No, I don't think. I know it's a lot of hard work, like a lot of hours. And also, I truly believe that you have to be delusional in a way.
Definitely.
You have to have this like unshakable confidence or faith that it will work out for you, because it will, as long as you don't give up. I think that's what it takes.
Yeah, because I think that now, with social media and everything that is accessible to us, we just see this I don't know, these people that are just like blowing up.
Yeah.
And like those people that are just getting lucky.
Yeah.
But I think that we are just not confronted with like the hard work that really goes into it.
Yeah.
We don't see the hours, we just see the end result.
Yeah.
And so how does a day look like for you?
A day for me, well, I wake up at 5 a.m. and then I get to work at around 6:30. And basically then I work the whole morning until 12 or 1. I go and do some sports, usually paddle.
Yay.
And then after I will do some more work, and then usually around 4, that's when my meeting starts, because most of my clients are in Europe.
Yeah.
So then I have meetings.
So you have a full day, like you have more than a full day from
Yeah.
6 to 4.
Yeah.
And then you go into meetings.
Then I go into my meetings.
Okay.
And then usually around 9, those meetings are done. And then I just wrap up my day and I go home at 10
Wow.
p.m.
And I know you have been having this routine for like a year now,
Yeah.
right? If not more.
Yeah.
What does it take to keep going? Because in the beginning, you're not sure how it's going to work out, and you probably have a lot of disappointments. So
Yeah.
what does it take to keep pushing?
For me, it was really because I just thought, okay, I thought everything in my life was like this, and now it all changed.
Yeah.
So that means I can change everything in my life. So I always said, I'm not a morning person, I work better in the night. So then I said, okay, let me just challenge that belief. Let me just see if I'm really not a morning person.
Yeah.
Now I love mornings. And I think just having that promise to myself, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And also really enjoying what you're doing.
True, true. And if you had the same business that you did before, so e-commerce, would you be able to still show up the same way, or would the passion be lacking there that maybe that would not be worth it for you?
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
latter, what you said, yeah. Because it was not really true to my nature. And I loved the beginning part of it before it launched, because then I was creating it, I was thinking of the concept, how am I gonna market this, how am I gonna target the people. And for me right now, I have that every day. How am I gonna target the people? How am I gonna market this? Yeah.
Wow. Are you still using those mindful tools now in your everyday life, even if you're so busy with work? How are you balancing, I don't know, like prioritizing your mindset and wellness and work?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And for me, mindset and personal development, that's a non-negotiable. So I said before to you, I usually start working at 6:30 or 6 a.m. But the beginning of the day is always journaling, affirmations, and then reading. And that's at least 1.5 to 2 hours, because I think that's really important. So for me, that's non-negotiable, because if you better yourself as a person, that's going to reflect in your work as well.
Yeah, for sure. And so, okay, we've talked about affirmations. How about journaling? What are the things that you usually journal about?
So that's funny, because before I would always journal about, oh, this has happened yesterday, or this is going to happen today, and this is my reflections on it.
Yeah.
But now, because I really want to live in that vibration of my affirmations, basically, the thing that I do most of the times is scripting, and that is you visualize yourself in a day where you already achieved what you want to achieve. So that could be business, but it could also be love. I don't know, anything you want to achieve, basically. And then you describe your day or what had happened the day before.
I love that.
Yeah, so I think if somebody would read my journal, they'll be like, wow, this girl is so delusional.
No, but you know what? I really believe that your beliefs, right? Like what you believe you can do is going to shape your reality. Because if you cannot even wrap your mind around how you want your life to look, or like what your dream life would be like, then if your mind cannot conceive it, you cannot have it, right? Because it would not be able to do the things that it needs to do to get you there. So I think scripting is so powerful. But is it like a different scenario that you describe every day, or sometimes do you write like the same things?
Sometimes I realize I do write the same things, but then it's probably because I just, You want to
solidify it?
Yeah, solidify it. But sometimes I just need a little bit more guidance on something. So it could be, for example, love, something is happening within love or dating, which is not going the way I want it to. So then I'll just script a day where it is going the way I want it to. Or write about my, I don't know, perfect husband. But also like in business, I'll just write, oh, I just had this meeting with my ideal client, for example, or oh, I'm having some issues with my ideal client, this is how I fixed it. Because I think that's something really real that you will encounter when, I don't know, you are in those days ahead, basically.
And so what is one aspect or more of your life that you are currently prioritizing and working on?
I think the most prioritization right now is on my business. And I move everything in my life for my business, so that's really number one. And then I would say my personal development is on number two.
It's like this constant in your life, right?
Yeah.
And how is Bali supporting, how is Bali supporting your business, your life? Do you feel like this is going to be the best foundation for you in terms of like location, or this might change?
I think it might change, but not, I wouldn't say in the near future, because everything is so optimized here. I mean, I go to work, you bring your laundry to the laundry.
True.
You don't really have to cook, and that's not like, oh, you don't have to cook or you don't want to cook.
Yeah. It's
so efficient.
Just everything easier.
Yeah.
It gives you more time.
Exactly. So everything is so optimized here, and also because you are so far away from all your friends and family, there is not a lot of distraction.
Yeah. So if someone is going through a hard breakup right now, what are the tools that you would say they should definitely try that helped you?
Yeah. Well, I would say the biggest tool, of course, is no contact.
Yeah.
And be really, really strict about it. And just sit with yourself. Sit with yourself, write everything down that you're feeling, and just be with yourself. Because the time that you get totally alone, that's actually a gift, but you don't realize it because you're so missing the other person, you're feeling incomplete.
But it's also very uncomfortable, right?
It's so uncomfortable.
To sit with yourself in silence with your thoughts.
Yeah.
It's just like, you got nowhere to hide.
Exactly.
You have to face yourself.
Yeah. It's so uncomfortable, but if you sit with it until it becomes comfortable,
true,
you can take on anything.
Oh my God, I love that. And any books that you would recommend? I know you are a avid reader.
Yes.
So any books that really has helped you level up in life in general?
Yeah, it's like an accumulation of books.
Yeah.
But
okay, your top three.
My top three. Okay, so number one is of course The Art of Seduction.
I love that book. Yeah.
That book is so good.
Yeah.
And then because I really, really love understanding personality types, there's this one book which is a good one to get into it. It's Surrounded by Idiots.
Okay.
By, I think it's Thomas Erickson or something.
Okay.
It's really
I'll
good.
link it.
Yeah, link it. And then my third one is The Slight Edge from Jeff Olson. And that basically goes into, if you do one thing every day, that's going to compound into something amazing.
I love that.
Yeah.
But personally, like, I find it super hard to stick with one thing every single day when you have no idea, what's going to come out of it.
Yeah.
And if anything is going to come out of it.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, do you just trust it, like deep down? Like, how do you, just like stick with it even if, do you challenge yourself? Did you tell yourself, okay, for 1 year, this is what I'm going to do, and then if it doesn't work, you have like this backup plan, or no?
I'm really bad with backup plans.
Okay.
Because I think if you already have a backup plan,
true,
you already kind of assume that it's not.
You already have like
work.
an exit strategy.
Yeah. So I'm really somebody that's like burn your bridges and just go for it. Because you have confidence in yourself. You know that whatever situation you'll end up in, you're going to fix it.
Yeah.
But of course, I have moments where I'm like, oh my God, everything is going wrong. I'm not sure what I'm doing. And especially in the beginning when I was really building it and I wasn't getting any clients, I was like, what am I doing here? I'm like miles away from everything I know, my family, and I'm not sure if this is going to work. But
so how did you deal with that?
For me, it was almost not an option to go back and to tell my friends and family like, oh, I tried it, but it didn't work. So it's just like, there's no way, Ruby, you're going to do that. There's no way.
So at some points you did face extreme stress and anxiety.
Yeah, 100%. And
you just like head down, kept going.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then this is why I say you need to be a little bit delusional.
Yeah.
Because there are so many people who would have been in my situation and they would be like, I think it's just better to go back. But for me, that was not an option. And it's not because I thought, oh, my friends or my families are going to judge me, which they will not. They will happily welcome me back.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just not an option.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm very passionate about the idea of like an alter ego.
Yes.
I am very curious to know if at any point in this journey of healing or leveling up in your life, did you create an alter ego for yourself to step into, to be able to like go beyond your limiting beliefs and just like believe in your dreams?
I think subconsciously, yes, because there was just this one point where I was like, there is this one thing I said to myself, which was before, when I was in a relationship, I would always dress very casually, and not always wear makeup and just be comfortable, basically. But the moment when that ended, the day after, I said to myself, okay, this is the moment where you're never going to be, I don't want to say comfortable, but just like lazy with the way you look. You're not going out the door and looking lazy. Well, for me, lazy was.
Yeah.
And I think subconsciously, that's the moment when my alter ego.
Yeah, I mean, from
created.
outside, one of the reason I'm asking you, because from outside, it is very clear you have stepped into this, like, you know, other identity, right? You're always wearing super powerful clothes, like black, and you're always like put together. And even the way you walk, as I was saying before, like it's very different. It's like you own things.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it started with your physical appearance then.
Yeah, 100% physical appearance. But I think like doing that, as we sometimes talk about stepping into your alter ego with wearing an accessory.
Yeah.
And in a way, that's that. Like putting on makeup is an accessory.
For sure. For me, it's the same. Like I definitely see the day when I wear makeup and I feel so on top.
Yeah.
And then when I don't wear makeup and I'm like, you know, just like slouching. My energy is just so different.
So different.
I just can show up better for myself when I'm like looking, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because people will tell me at my co-working, they'll tell me like, why are you always dressed up?
Yeah.
They literally call it dressing up, which is also something of that alter ego, right? You dress up.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the same. If I don't do it, I don't feel as energized or as confident in my work than when I don't.
I love that. And so have you had a lot of, like during this transformation period, have you had people, I don't know, criticizing you or, I don't know, voicing their opinions on you, and how do you block out the noise?
Interesting. That's really interesting. Yes, of course. And
haters gonna be haters.
Haters gonna be haters. Yeah. But I think no, it's just that people are so used to seeing some version of you, which has some characteristic traits.
They are attached to that.
Exactly. So the moment when you change that, they're like, oh wait, I actually am not sure who this is or what I think about this person. So it's natural that you're gonna lose people like that. But yeah, sometimes it is, I don't know, it is hard. But I would say if
you just feel grounded in your purpose, then.
Yeah, and I would say if there's people that really challenge you, and let's say I don't agree with that, then you can decide if you want those people in your life.
True, yeah.
Because if people tell me like, oh, I don't really like you the way you are right now, I'm like, sorry.
That would be so weird though. People coming to you like, oh, I don't know what you've done. I don't like you anymore.
I don't like you anymore.
That would be so weird.
Yeah, but to be fair,
I know some people do it, but it's like, I feel like it's because they feel insecure in what they're seeing. And they're like, I don't know, this person is just triggering all those insecurities, and therefore they feel attacked.
Yeah, but you know, it's actually really interesting because I had this situation where some people will tell me that I'm selfish, that I'm not social, because I always put my business first and my personal development. Whereas before I was a person that would always put other people above me.
Yeah.
So they're used to me choosing them over myself. And the moment you stop doing that, they will not like it always.
Yeah.
But those are not the people that are gonna help you to the top.
Yeah, because if they're doing this, then they're not looking out for you, right? They're not recognizing that you're doing what's best for you and you should support that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So all my friends that are like applauding me for doing my business and choosing myself, those are my friends that are still in my life.
For sure.
The other people just weed out themselves.
And in the end, like, yes, we have friends, but maybe we're not supposed to stick with the same group of people our whole lives, right? Like, if you're someone that is constantly changing, which I hope everyone is, because that's the whole point of it, well, then you need to attract like people that are having the same mindset as you or aiming at the same things as you are, because otherwise it just does not make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in the end, people should always know that you putting your business or your personal development first, it's never about them.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they take it personally, then that's their projection of their insecurity onto you. It has nothing to do with you.
For sure. Any podcast that you listen to?
Oh, I love The Diary of a CEO.
Oh, I love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, to be fair, right now that's the only one I listen to.
Really interesting. Okay.
And the one of Alex Hormozy, but that's more incidental.
Yeah.
Diary of a CEO, like
Diary
I
of
love
CEO.
Stephen.
Yeah, I love it too. He's
We're on a
such
first
a
name
great
basis.
Yeah, I know. Stephen is such a good interviewer.
He's so good.
Yeah, he is really good.
Yeah.
All right. I think I have everything I wanted from you.
Okay.
Anything you want to add?
Thank you for having me. I feel so honored.
Thank you so much. No, seriously, because when I was thinking about, talking about relationships, breakups, leveling up in your life, I did not feel like I was experienced to do that because I did not go through the things that other people are going through. And I keep hearing either on social media or in real life how people are just like, I don't know, having such a hard times with their breakups, understandably so.
Yeah.
And not always are they able to like level up and glow up as maybe they wish they could. But then I was like, I know the right person to interview for that, because you have done it with so much grace. And like the way that you've just like come out of it, it's really about how you used your adversity to your advantage. And I love that.
Well, thank you so much for it. That literally gives me goosebumps.
32 degrees, people. 32 degrees.
Second time.
Yeah, no, but thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for opening up, and I hope that you guys love those little tips and this little conversation that we had. It's really like what we would do when we go out to dinner or breakfast.
Yeah.
We go into the deep topics, and that's what I love so much about our friendship, is that we're able to open up so much. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and I will see you soon for a next video.